I already have the team over here. I've got FELIX, MACHARIA, I believe MACHARIA, right? Because I'm pronouncing it right from an African perspective, right? So FELIX MACHARIA from Kenya. Please unmute yourself, Felix, so you can actually talk to point. He is from Kotani Pay. Kotani Pay is doing some amazing things. Richard D'Souza, my man from AltCoinTrader, my man. You know what? You are my hero on the ground, man. I've been hearing a lot about you. I've been seeing you in some of the events. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing a conversation here on the panel. And I have here Gavin Marshall. Gavin, please unmute yourself. You will be part of this conversation. Epic. And of course, I have EHIS OMOZUSI. EHIS, welcome to the show. I have as well Tony. Tony is supposed to be moderating this conversation, not me. Tony, please, if you can hear me, come on stage. If not, please, my team, make sure that Tony actually comes onto this panel conversation. While this is happening, please introduce yourselves while Tony is coming onto the show, and he will certainly pick up from there. Richard, please go ahead.
Okay, John. Well, it's awesome to be at the Blockchain Africa 2021. It's the 7th year that we've watched this conference, and a big, thumbs up to Bitcoin Events for allowing us to attend these conferences and just for what they do for the community. It's really awesome. Guys, my name is Richard D'Souza. I am the CEO and founder of AltCoinTrader, one of the local South African exchanges. But more than that, I am passionate about DeFi and about the space. And I'm very excited to be on this panel just to, share my thoughts and share DeFi with the people out there.
Beautiful. Felix, why don't you do me the honors, please, and unmute yourself and come on live and talk to me about, and the audience, about Kotani Pay and what you guys do.
Thank you, Tony. My name is Felix Macharia. I'm the
I need
CEO
to confirm that you can hear me, John. I'm finding it quite difficult to, I've been trying to come back on stage to make sure that.
Tony, sounds good. Tony, you're the moderator of this particular panel. The panel is on Ethereum 2.0 as well as decentralized finance. I've taken the liberty to be able to kick off and introduce actually the panelists into the audience. But please pick up from this and carry on with the conversation. Felix was actually introducing himself, which has actually done so. And the rest will carry on. I will just let you guys do it.
Thank you, John. Yeah, so as I mentioned, Felix Macharia, CEO of Kotani Pay. I've been in the space for 6 years now, so seen a lot of developments in the space. Kotani Pay is a technology stack that enables blockchain protocols and blockchain dApps to connect to local payment channels on the continent. So we are currently live in Kenya, and we'll be going live in Ghana, Nigeria, and Zambia very soon. So excited to be here. Yes, EHIS, you can go next. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please go ahead. I will be backing Tony on this panel. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm EHIS, regional marketing lead for Africa Conflux Network. Yeah, Conflux Network is an open source protocol. We also have Moonswap and DAppBeds in conjunction with us. So that'll be it on my introduction.
Gavin, please go ahead. Chime in.
Gavin Marshall. I've been playing in this space for a while now, probably about 7 years. Spent a lot of time lecturing and training. For a while, I was quite a Bitcoin maximalist and avoided Ethereum and all of that, but I've kind of got a lot more interested in it, in the greater blockchain space over the last 3-4 years. My focus is really on decentralized technologies in general, so not just blockchain, looking at how do we move to this new paradigm. And so that's what I've started Hippytech around, is just really to consult around that. In fact, one of the big projects I'm working on at the moment is a decentralized social network with elements of blockchain in, but it's not a blockchain in and of itself. But yeah, I spend a lot of time consulting and doing a lot of R&D in the space as well.
Okay, guys, I think Tony's been muted or is having some technical difficulties. So I think if we're going to kick off, one of the questions that I get all the time, and I think that you guys probably get a similar question, is what is happening with Ethereum? Is it dead? Is it going to continue? Is 2.0 going to kick in and save us all, or are we going to just battle on with these high fees? So I think I want to debunk some of those things. So I'll just quickly, for a couple of seconds, give you my thoughts on that. And then if we can all share our thoughts, and just any comments, feel free to drop in. But a lot of people are saying that Ethereum is really going through a tough time, and we know that to be true. But I would like to just caution every single person out there that's thinking that Ethereum is dead. The fact that the Ethereum fees are so high is indicative of the fact that this network is being used. A lot of people are telling me, I don't use Ethereum because the fees are just too high. And what I say to them is, well, guys, I am using Ethereum because I have this amazing invention called a calculator. And I can simply calculate if those fees will still make my interaction worthwhile. So while a lot of people are saying I'm not using Ethereum, I am using Ethereum every single day. And yes, there are astronomical fees, but there's a lot of people that are obviously still using Ethereum, and that is why the fees are so high. Ethereum is sort of balancing itself because when everyone steps away, we see these fees drop, okay? And then people come back. So while the fees are high, it really bears testament to the fact that Ethereum is being used. Its closest competitor is five times smaller than Ethereum. So Ethereum has first mover advantage. And just quickly wrapping up with that, obviously there is going to be competition to Ethereum. And when I asked, well, which network are you going to use, Ethereum or its competitors? My answer is always very simple. I'm going to use all of them, because why wouldn't I just use all of them and get the most advantage of every different type of aspect of every type of network? So I would like to just tell people that are dismissing Ethereum and counting it out, watch this space, guys. Ethereum's not going anywhere. Certainly there will be competitors, but it's exciting. We need competition. And this decentralized alternative financial system that we're also very proud of is going to do massive, massive things. Not understanding it, not researching it, in my opinion, is absolutely irresponsible. Felix, if you want to take off from there and just share your comments with us.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. I think I was initially very skeptical of Ethereum. I think, Gavin, we were in the same camp. This was back in, I think, 2017. A lot of the discussion was around something called the scalability trilemma, and how you can be able to hack decentralization, scalability, and security all at the same time. So at that point, I think I joined the EOS community, and even we ran a node validation business on EOS. But it's very clear that Ethereum has stood the test of time in terms of high transactions, even at that time, because that was the ICO boom of 2017. Transaction fees were still very high. But I think there are a couple of things you look at when you look at Ethereum that makes it sort of like the leader when it comes to smart contracts. So one is, if you look at the sheer number of developers that are developing on Ethereum, gives them a lot of strength, so that even if ideas are coming from other blockchain protocols, this cross-pollination, the greatest beneficiary of that cross-pollination is usually Ethereum. So take, for example, an example of liquidity pools. I think the idea initially started in the Banco network, was adopted by an Ethereum project. And when it came to Ethereum, it just went ballistic. So look at all the trends within crypto, anything from DeFi to NFTs to the next thing. Most of that action is coming from Ethereum because of this great Ethereum ecosystem that they have established. So it's an ecosystem of developers plus VC firms that are funding a lot of the Ethereum dApps. Plus now they've even gotten to the other side into the markets with the various futures that are being launched. So I think all those things are very advantageous for Ethereum. And another thing that it makes Ethereum a powerful network is they have always stuck to the message. You know, the initial message was, we want to be a smart contract platform, and they have proven over time to stick to that particular message. So I guess there'll be a lot more coming from the Ethereum side. I expect that these so-called Ethereum killers will most likely be niche players. So the likes of Silo here in Africa play a very important role when it comes to financial inclusion. We'll have a lot of niche players, but when it comes to smart contract platforms, I think Ethereum still leads.
Okay. Yeah, Richard and Felix are very correct to what they've said. I've just been doing some little research about ETH 2.0 and then the EIP 1599, right? And how Ethereum is looking at moving into the POS, right? So, I mean, as time goes on, we'll see the fees drop. I don't know how low they would go, but I'm sure that we'll see the fees drop as time goes on, and when they move into POS, and then more competitors will come into the game. So, I mean, Ethereum is taking cognizance of this competition, is why they are thinking of lower fees or a baseline fee and all this. I mean, that's my opinion on what is happening so far. I mean, I'm sure Gavin would have more to say about that, though.
It's a very cool question. I've got a couple of opinions, and I'm not too sure which one I'm clinging to right now. The first is that Bitcoin was here as well. When Bitcoin fees were sky high, and all the guys in Ethereum were saying, like, you know, Bitcoin's dead, the fees are too high, Ethereum's much cheaper, Ethereum's going to, you spoke about the flipping and all of that kind of stuff. And now Ethereum's here, you know, and the reason Ethereum is here is because it's really popular. You know, like Richard said, it's the more use of Ethereum, the higher the fees are going to go. So that's the one aspect. You know, I think it's necessary for Ethereum to be here. You know, one of the biggest use cases of DeFi and ICOs for me isn't necessarily the use cases themselves, but it's actually just testing the hell out of the network and seeing where the problems arise. And Ethereum scalability has always been something that's been on the radar. I don't think proof of stake is going to solve the problem. Possibly, I think sharding is definitely going to help with solving the problem, and that's where Ethereum 2.0 comes in. I think the danger for Ethereum, though, is you know, the ecosystem isn't a good enough argument in that there are a lot of platforms that are popping up with also supporting the EVM. You know, you've got, you know, at the moment you've got Phantom, which started as a DAG platform, but it's a fully functional smart contract platform that is running full EVM. I'm still wrapping my head around the consensus mechanism, but it looks really, really interesting. They've got basically consensus within 700 milliseconds. You know, so they seem to have solved the problem in a very different way to how Ethereum is trying to solve it. I think the other big competitor to look at is Polkadot. In that what you have there is one of the founders of Ethereum who got frustrated with the speed at which Ethereum was moving forward and started to try and solve that problem, and out of that evolved Polkadot. Now, I think what Polkadot has is Ethereum 2.0 on steroids. You know, it's taking it much bigger than just sharding, and you can have multiple chains doing different things. So I don't necessarily write a smart contract, although I can. I mean, on Moonbeam, one of the parachains that are coming to Polkadot, you can do full EVM, but I could write my own blockchain that actually solves a certain problem. And they've built all of the plumbing that allows me to communicate cross-chain. And so what Polkadot is doing is managing the consensus aspect of it and all of that. But I can now focus on building out other things. And I think it's a really, really interesting proposal, particularly because Gavin Wood is behind it. You know, and I think that is probably, you know, I think what they're developing in Polkadot, I think will surpass 2.0. That's my own opinion based on what I've looked at. Once again, I'm still trying to get my head around the consensus mechanism. Grandpa, I haven't had enough time to really just drop into it. So yeah, I think that Ethereum is in trouble. I think that it's fine for it to be in trouble. It's perfectly okay for us to be experiencing problems with these very, very new, cutting-edge, completely different paradigm technologies. You know, it is it's a profound thing that we're trying to do, to build platforms that are completely decentralized and yet completely secure. You know, and so we are going to make mistakes along the way, and we learn from those mistakes. And that's the thing I've had to learn, say, from Bitcoin or whatever, to actually let go of the sort of cult status of whatever my favorite blockchain is, and look at what is emerging out of, you know, I mean, we saw this with the internet. You know, Google wasn't the first search engine. Facebook wasn't the first social media application. You had MySpace. You had all of these other guys that paved the way and made lots of mistakes. So yeah, I'll stop talking because I can probably speak all day.
Gavin, yeah, very interesting commentary. I've actually got a question for all three of you, which I'd like to shoot first. Gavin, something that is very interesting to me is, and I enjoy this conversation whenever I meet people that were at one stage Bitcoin maximalists. So I'd like you to just quickly tell me are you still a Bitcoin maximalist, or are you now open to looking at other technologies? And the reason that I ask that is because, just your comment that, yeah, Ethereum is in trouble, which I do agree with, but I'd like to point out it's only in trouble if you compare it to its competitors. If you look at it from a stance of market share, what's going to happen? If it is standing alone, it's not in trouble because it serves a massive, massive market. And whether Cardano or Polkadot, those are the three founders that originally started Ethereum, Charles, Vitalik, and of course Gavin Wood. But it's not in trouble if it lives in its own little world and is isolated from those others, right? So that would be something interesting. And while people are saying, there's this tribalism and they want to take a certain token and support a certain coin to such an extent that, I'm laughing because it just gives me more opportunity to work with every single protocol and maximize not only my knowledge, but my gains and the usefulness of every single platform and technology. And I get excited. So I am not tribal at all. I like to dabble with anything. And then I'm just going to shoot all my questions because it might be the last time I get to speak. So I'm very, very excited about Conflux protocol. I'm a big fan. I've used it quite a lot. And what I wanted to know is, can we classify that as a second layer solution? I've seen the shuttle, where you can swap between the platforms. And that is something that's very exciting. But I don't think that it has really gained the momentum that it could have gained because it is a reasonably big barrier to entry. You have to understand how to get onto that network. And a lot of people are just battling to work in the realm of that. And then Felix, also the last question to you, and you guys can maybe answer them in the order that I asked, just to keep some type of, organization here, is what is your views on maximalism and people not taking advantage of the broader spectrum? We've seen before, like if you support a soccer team, and you get a girlfriend and she supports another soccer team, you lose your mind. But is there not space for us to just have a more open approach and say, guys, these are all great technologies. I'm taking advantage of everything.
So I'm guessing I'll go first. I actually wouldn't classify myself as a maximalist, to be truly honest. I was very, very enthusiastic about Ethereum until the DAO hack happened and until they decided to actually roll back to before the DAO hack. And that for me just broke it. I was just like, okay, you're not supposed to be able to do that. And so it took me a long time to actually trust Ethereum again. Only actually when Parity, of all people, we're speaking about Polkadot, when that wallet hack happened and all that, those funds, and Parity actually tried to get Ethereum to do the same thing, and they refused. We never got consensus within Ethereum to actually make that happen. I'm like, okay, this is starting to feel a bit more like the kind of platform that it should be. I think for me, I'm to be honest, I'm not really interested in making a whole lot of money and getting rich quick, which is a lot of why people are in crypto. I'm really interested in some of the other applications. And at first, Bitcoin was that for me. I didn't have to go through the whole process of, getting permission from a bank to start coding against money. I could just code against Bitcoin. And then what happened is that a lot of the applications that I wanted to build became less and less realistic because Bitcoin sort of changed direction in terms of what it was being used for. Now, I still get paid in Bitcoin. I still am extremely bullish about Bitcoin. I'm bullish about Lightning Network, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of what I wanted to do now suddenly became a little bit more feasible on Ethereum, and yet now it's not. A couple of the projects I've released recently have actually just been killed before even launch because the transaction fees were too high. And so I've started now looking at alternatives. I had a look at Binance Smart Chain. It's just too centralized. Binance owns every single one of the nodes. And I think whereas something like Polkadot really interests me because it gives me a lot of scope as a developer and as an entrepreneur that I can start really building cool stuff. Phantom interests me as well because of I think because of the originality. I've been a little bit skeptical of DAGs as methods of consensus, if you would. But I think that Phantom has maybe solved that. And so I mean, I'm still really diving deeper into it. But I'm feeling relatively optimistic compared to, say, IOTA. IOTA, I don't know, it just felt dead on arrival because of the centralization. EOS as well. EOS just never, it was just this big mess of tech that I never quite got what they were trying to do. I don't think they really got what they were trying to do either. So I think for me, what's exciting about these other projects, opposed to say Cardano, I think Cardano is super interesting too. It's just, the smart contract platform's taking a while to come out, and now it's in Haskell. Yes, EVM will probably come, but it just feels like too much of a learning for me now, having invested some time in learning, say, Solidity. And so yeah, it's really just following the path of least resistance in terms of how do we solve really cool problems without now having massive transaction fees in the way.
Okay, I would just go, right?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Yeah, so Gavin, I think you should try Conflux to start with. And then very interesting question, Richard. So unlike Ethereum has a large ecosystem, as we know. And then Conflux isn't there yet, but we are here to stay. We are here for the long run. So we are not pushing. We want the ecosystem is why we established base in Africa, and then to try to put the world out there here and there. We also have a Toronto office, right, to put the word there, here and there. We are here for the long run. We have MoonSwap. We have the DEX, which is MoonDEX. We also have the shuttle flow, right? So we are bringing out use cases where people can use to do stuff from time to time. And then with time, I'm sure we would gain momentum, as you stated, Richard.
Can I ask a quick question? Who is we? Who's Conflux. The we that you talk about? When you say we have a DEX, a DEX is a decentralized exchange. By saying that we have it, surely you're centralizing. And I don't know but that seems to, that's the issue that I have with a lot of new platforms is that they ride on, and I'm not saying you do, I need to, but the word we just feels makes me nervous.
Okay, so but for decentralized exchanges to actually work, it has to first be curbed before released to everybody, right? So as it is right now is still in early stages where we are monitoring things, right? And then at the end of the day, the we would no longer be there.
Yeah, good answer there. Yeah. Obviously everything needs to be rebuilt. And, if you take one of the biggest decentralized players like MakerDAO, they rebranded to Oasis. So if you're decentralized, you can't really rebrand. So I think at this stage, we have to be very careful between the usage of the terms. Sometimes you should just say non-custodial, because it would have a better or clearer way of expressing something. Because decentralized, I think we're still, in many aspects, a long way from actually achieving this true decentralization on a lot of these protocols, But that's also fine. As you mentioned earlier, Gavin, things are in trouble, things are new. You said something like that, Felix. So it will expand. We will get there. But I hear your sentiment when you talk about a decentralized protocol and you've got people working for the company. Well, okay. But as I say, maybe non-custodial is a more accurate way with the vision of it becoming decentralized down the road. Felix, if we could hear from you, back to this topic of what are your thoughts? Can you embrace more than one aspect in this decentralized world? Or is this tribalism something that we're always just going to battle with?
Yes, I think tribalism is something we see in politics, we see in business, we see it all around. As humans, we are very comfortable with what we are familiar with. So if you start with a particular protocol, you want to stick there until you realize, like GAVIN, it's not serving, its purpose or the purpose that you intended. So I personally take a very broad view of these different protocols. I think by the end of the day, each of them will either fall off or just find its place. So in the case of Bitcoin, for example, it's found its place as digital gold is the most used term. Ethereum, I think, is finding its place as digital oil. It will be used for many smart contracts and many smart contract use cases. And then there are niche applications that even big protocols like Ethereum and Bitcoin don't necessarily care about. So, for example, if you look at the work that Silo is doing in terms of taking a mobile-first approach, so connecting blockchains to mobile phone numbers, and doing that in emerging markets. So this is a niche player in that particular space, and I think they're in that space with the likes of XDAI. So based on why you are here, based on why you came to the space, there are people who came to the space to maximize profit. There are people who came to the space to build applications that will change the world. There are people who came to the space to just, interact with other technology players. I think your approach will be determined by why you're here. So for me personally, I take a very broad approach. Kotani Pay, for example, allows integration to several blockchain protocols, not just Silo, not just Ethereum, because we believe there is more exchange that will happen on blockchain protocols as we move forward. So we at 1 trillion, that's probably going to grow as more of these blockchains come on board. So very much depends on your kind of approach or the reason why you're in this space.
Okay, and just to, as we wrap up, we've just got a couple, or we're probably out of time, but let's all just shoot like with 10 seconds and say, what do you think the future is for Ethereum? Is it in trouble, or is it something that is still going to become massive in this alternative financial system? I think my views are clear. I think Ethereum should not be counted out right now. We don't know how the space is going to change, so we're all guessing, but I'm very bullish on Ethereum. Gavin, if you go next, and then Felix, then we'll end with EHIS.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for Ethereum. I'm not really doing anything on Ethereum at the moment because it's just too expensive. And if the price comes down, then I'll probably be back. It's a very fluid space. There's no ways of actually predicting the future, and so I'm going to go where it works for me to go. Pragmatic.
Okay.
So I think Ethereum will still lead simply because once you're invested, you have, land solidity for 3-4 years. You're already building on Ethereum. You probably earned some Ethereum. You'll stay there. And so it has that gravity kind of effect. So it does pull a lot of developers to its ecosystem. These developers are thinking on a daily basis of how to solve the problems. Even scalability problems. So you'll find the likes of gas tokens and such solutions coming up from the community. And I don't want to take a very negative approach in terms of, is this transaction fee problem not solvable? I believe it's solvable. It's only that the incentive must be stronger on that side than it is right now. So I am very positive on Ethereum. I think the likes of Polkadot have a chance because, again, technically, even if you look at Polkadot as a project, has been in development for quite a while. So it's one of the few projects that survived from 2017, but might take a while to, pull the kind of action that Ethereum has. So bullish on Ethereum.
EHIS, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I also think Ethereum is in trouble, but it's going to stay. Really, it's going to stay. But I would admonish people to take a look at Conflux network once again, and I mean it's Solidity compatible also, and I don't see any reason why you would regret it because the fees are low as you would like it, Gavin. So yeah. But Ethereum is here to stay. The competition will still be there, but Ethereum is really here to stay. And as Felix said, there will be a solution for fees. in the long run. And then, yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
Richard, go on for your closing comments right there.
Thanks very much, John. I see a lot of people in the comments saying that you can program in Solidity on Cardano, and that is true. And there's a lot of very exciting things about Cardano. I always want to liken this comparison. When we see a lot of people, accountants specifically, that can't program, but when Microsoft Excel or any spreadsheet came out, all of a sudden we had accountants that were able to do amazing formulas, and this brought sort of calculations and common day queries into mainstream. Now, the reason that I'm bringing that up, because you might think that's a bit odd, is that if you look at the visual programming that you can do on the Cardano protocol, where you can simply drag and drop if statements and basically write smart contracts without knowing any programming language, I think there is a potential that this will do what Excel did for accountants, will bring people to be able to, the common man, write a smart contract. And those are the type of things that will really make big differences in this DeFi space. So if you compare it and something like that takes off and becomes mainstream, we're going to see that a protocol like Cardano could be massive. But yeah, guys, I enjoyed this discussion. I always enjoy. I'm very passionate about talking about DeFi. So yeah, I
can see that. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your contribution. You all are doing an amazing, stellar job.